White Rocket Entertainment. Is that another Auburn? Right in the middle of the introduction. Another home run. Taylor Belza. Second of the game, and it's 6-3 Auburn over Central Florida. John, we're going to do the introduction in just a second, but I'm including every bit of this because this is fun. I was just telling Amy a while ago, I said, now that Gus isn't there anymore, we can go back to hating Central Florida.
Amen.
Just like we were able to go back to hating Florida State after Terry was gone from Auburn. I never liked those. I said
it was unnatural.
No, Central Florida makes Florida State look like up-jumped landed gentry from the old days. They didn't have a program 20 years ago, and yet they act like they're an elite, ancient, tradition-laden program. If all of your traditions happened after touch-tone phones, you do not have a tradition-laden program. If all of your traditions happened starting in 2, you do not have a tradition. I know they go back a tiny bit earlier than that. But let's try it again. This is White Rocket. Not much further. White Rocket Entertainment, podcast number 987. And it feels like the dang 980s have been going on forever. I guess I'm just looking ahead. Let's do the introduction. Here we go. I'm going to do a video for this, but I'm just excited right now. From Southern Illinois and Eastern Virginia, it is the AU Wishbone Podcast. John, how are you tonight?
I'm well, Van. How are you?
I'm good. I am freshly back from Peoria. We played in Peoria this weekend at Maddie's wedding. She's now Maddie Schaefer, married Luke Schaefer, and had a very lovely ceremony in a sort of a botanical garden type place, and it was really, really neat.
Wonderful.
It's funny. The guy that officiated the wedding was from there, and he's like, "Man, I've been coming to this park for 20 years, and I didn't know this part was back here. I'd have been coming here for all this time." So it was pretty neat. Well, I am your host, Van Allen Plexico, joined as always by my co-host.
I'm John Ringer.
And John, we're going to be doing one of our simulcasts tonight, as we usually do during like the NCAA basketball tournament, where we're watching something on one screen while we're putting ourselves on another. So we'll be kind of keeping you guys up to date on what's happening with the baseball game. If you weren't aware, there's an Auburn baseball game going on. We just got 2 solo home runs in that inning, which was the bottom of the 6th. And so Auburn is now leading Central Florida 6-3 as we head into the 7th inning. So it's unfortunate, though, that both of our home runs in that inning were solo when we actually had a bases loaded situation in the previous inning and only managed one little run out of it. So
yep.
Them's the breaks of baseball. So, all right. Well, we have a number of interesting things to talk about tonight, but as always, we have to start out. It's the Auburn Fun Meter, our weekly look at how much fun it is to be an Auburn fan right now on a scale of 0 to 10. How is your Auburn Fun Meter looking right this very minute?
Well, if you'd asked me Friday afternoon, it had been pretty low. The fun meter was pretty low after that opening loss to Milwaukee. But since then, football commit, win a couple of baseball games, still playing postseason baseball in Auburn, Alabama. I'm going to say 7.
Okay,
6.5.
that works for me too. I don't usually object to your numbers unless I grievously object, and I see nothing grievous to object about to that one. So, yeah, we have several things going on. The baseball team is currently playing, and if I understand it correctly, and I'm not a baseball guy, if Auburn beats Central Florida, that eliminates Central Florida. Auburn then comes back around to play Milwaukee again.
Yes.
And if that would be tomorrow because this game has been pushed so late because of weather delays. I was able to watch an entire IndyCar race recording while the weather delay was going on this afternoon. And then if they beat Milwaukee, they have to play them again, don't they? Because of the way the loser bracket thing works.
Yeah, I think you have to have 2 losses to be eliminated, basically, out of the thing.
And they haven't lost.
Right now, they have 0.
Right. And the only team they have left to play is the winner of this game.
Yes.
So if whoever wins this game, if they lose to Milwaukee in game 1 tomorrow, that's it.
That's right.
But if they beat Milwaukee, then they have to play again, it's one of those things where on the one hand, it just seems insane. And on the other hand, it makes perfect sense.
Sure. You got four teams in a bracket, 2 losses, and you're out.
Yep, that's it. But it always ends up with that weird situation where a team wins and then they have to play the same team over again. It's just as bizarre, but it works. So, all right, we're bringing in Ryan Hetzler in his 18th appearance on the mound for the Tigers. Couple of things about baseball real quick. One is we were so down on Auburn for losing to Milwaukee, and then UCLA went and got eliminated by St. Mary's, I think, or something.
Yes.
Yeah, they're out. And they were the number 1 seed. We were number 4. So it's not that we want Auburn to lose, certainly, and it's not that we make excuses, but we wouldn't be the only ones, and we wouldn't be the highest seed to do it, to lose to the team that seemed like the cupcake in the group. So
no,
it's just weird this year.
Several other regional hosts who have lost and been eliminated, and several others who haven't been eliminated who lost a game. So Auburn is not the only regional host that got pushed into the loser side of the bracket either. So,
yeah. So NC State got eliminated immediately. They finished last in our little 4-team group. The loser of this game we're watching now basically is 3rd in the group. And then the winner gets to play the first place team. So where did Milwaukee come from all of a sudden that they're so good? Well, I mean, they didn't just hammer us. They hammered Central Florida pretty dang good too.
Again, it's like the NCAA tournament. We're in the postseason. All these teams deserve to be here. So. Yeah,
I guess. I just didn't know where Milwaukee suddenly they were barely even in. I mean, they were, so I don't know. Meanwhile, I believe the golf team is currently playing in the
and currently leading, I believe, the team competition of the NCAA tournament heading into tomorrow.
And how is our boy doing? Our soon-to-be PGA
Jackson
superstar?
Coyvin's doing well. I haven't seen any individual results, but I think the team overall is playing very well and in good shape. So,
good deal. All right, struck out Central Florida, top of the 6th, 1 out. I just skip carry. Oh, it's kind of cool.
And while Ben's doing that, we gotta say compliments to the crowd at these baseball games. Yeah. Constant on and off weather delays. The big change in the postseason is in the regular season, the home team basically gets to make the call about the weather. And of course, they have to coordinate with the conference and all that, and they have rules, but they know like the weather in their area, and they make the decisions about stop, start, that kind of thing, work with the refs, right? And in the postseason, the NCAA has a person on site who's making these decisions, not somebody from Auburn. And they've had multiple 30-minute kind of lightning or we think it's going to rain, stop, start kind of things all afternoon. The crowd has been there all day. The Auburn crowd's been there all day cheering for this team, and they deserve a big tip of the cap for the good work today.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been one of those things. It's got to be frustrating where you get there, they play they had 4 at bats, and there goes, and then they're back to a rain delay again. There goes Central Florida, 3 up, basically 3 down, and we go to the bottom of the 7th coming up. I should do I should continue my Skip Carey and do one of his classic bits. So that's 3 up, 3 down in the top of the 7th. I see out in the stands today that a number of Saudi princes are in attendance in the stands, and it looks like they've all brought their daughters with them. He actually said that. I listened to a game where he said that. That was a great line. I'm having the strawberry flavored Netflix Nesquik, by the way, tonight. my drink of choice, and I'm going to go ahead and.
All right. While Van is imbibing, we're going to move on to football, and there was some big recruiting news this weekend. First of all, starting last night and going into today, Alex Golesh has tweeted War Eagle with little symbols next to it and stuff 6 times. Alex Golesh has.
Really?
So
Tell me more.
People think this means something. Like there's been a bunch of recruits on campus. He's been working a bunch of recruits, and people think there's going to be stuff happening coming out of this. So the one big commitment that's public this weekend is a cornerback named Nash Johnson, who's from Atlanta, who originally had been committed to Alabama. He decommitted from Alabama a couple weeks ago, and now is committed to Auburn. A lot of other SEC schools wants him. He's a high 3-star, but a 3-star that everybody in the SEC basically had offered, a big, tall cornerback who could play. And so and Auburn doesn't have a cornerback in this class. So this is a big commitment.
Yeah. I know it seemed like an inordinate number of our commitments this year are 3 stars, but it seemed like they've all been like on the upside of 3 stars.
Yes.
They all are like could go higher, and they've been positions of need. And I keep pointing out this is still in a proof of concept year where we haven't seen any football yet. So you can't expect 5 stars to line up to play based on, I guess Freeze was able to get a couple to do that, but I don't know what he said in his meetings with them, but I don't think that's the way we want to go with this. He just wrote a lot of zeros on those checks and said, there you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So speaking of Alex Golesh, I'll do this real quick. A couple of weeks ago, I just a thought occurred to me, and I jotted it down, and then we kind of forgot about it for a while. But I had made a little note here that, having Alex Golesh as your coach, there's some things that are going to have to change around Auburn. There's some terminology that's just going to be different, right? Some of the Auburn terminology that we're used to is just suddenly going to be different. And the bounces one to the plate on the first pitch of the bottom of the 7th for 1-0. I guess I'm gonna have to pause the baseball game commentary to do my bit here. So Eric Guevara is up, and he tried to bunt, and it did not work. And that's going to be ball 2. Interesting. All right. So there's just some terminology at Auburn we're going to have to change. And I had this originally set up that you would do part of it, but I guess I could just run through it myself, right?
Go.
So before, I'll tell you, here's what it's been called, and here's what it's going to be called going forward. Are you ready? We need to take notes on this, John, because this is what we're going to call things going forward at Auburn. How we're going to have to call things at Auburn. Terminology. The Auburn Jet. You've heard of the Auburn Jet that we send around through the air, right?
Yeah.
The Auburn Jet is now Aeroflot. Aeroflot.
I thought you were doing some kind of serious commentary about what we were going to call certain positions on the field. Keep going.
I'll do that next time. I've got a special request in. All right. We are famous for drinking lemonade.
Yes.
Vodka. Toomer's vodka, John. How that isn't already a thing, I don't know. Toomer's vodka. Yeah. Got a tree with toilet paper on the label. Toomer's vodka.
How do you know it's not a thing?
That should be a thing. I'm going to get me a bottle. All right. The Auburn campus police, I think they may have even gotten rid of them. They used to, but they were certainly there in our day, the Auburn University campus police and their little headquarters building, giving out parking tickets.
Very aware.
They're coming back. KGB. Trench coats, cigarettes, papers, please. Stopping students on the concourse, checking their papers. Sanford Hall. Big clock tower building, right? Administration. The Kremlin. It's the Kremlin.
Okay, out of all of them, that's the one that maybe hurts me.
The Baptist Student Union. We all know the Baptist Student Union, either from attending, visiting, or sitting behind them in football games for many years, which we did. You and I did. Not many years, a couple of years. They are now the Greek Orthodox Student Union. Greek Orthodox. Auburn will now be the United States' biggest Greek Orthodox school rather than Baptist. The student chapel at the corner there, down from the little Auburn gear shop, right? Down at the entrance to what is that? It's at Magnolia and Thatch, right?
Mm-hmm.
The little student chapel. St. Basil's Cathedral. St. Basil's. Puts little onion domes on top of it. Chicken fingers and fries. Cabbage and beets. Cabbage and beets.
2 thumbs down. Cabbage and beets.
No cabbage, extra beets.
Ouch.
And instead of sweet tea, just get you some of that Toomer's vodka to wash it down. Oh, here comes the rain again. Here comes I think Annie Lennox said it best, John. Here comes the rain again with Auburn up 6-3 in the bottom of the 7th. They're getting under the smocks. Oh, there's a shot. There's a shot, and it is gone. That
in the rain.
Gone in the rain. I'm glad they didn't stop right before that pitch. Chase Freilich put it out of Plainsman Park, and we are looking at he's rounding third, and he's coming home, and it's going to be boom. 7-3 in the bottom of the 7th. It's not looking good for the Golden Knights. All right, let's see. Where were we? The Creed. You've heard of the Creed, John?
I have.
Manifesto.
The Auburn.
Now the manifesto. It is now the manifesto. A specter is haunting Jordan-Hare. Heisman? Lennon. Instead of a bust of Heisman, a bust of Lennon. They kind of look the same. You know, they kind of look the same. There you go. I like it. All right, we're getting close. Jordan? Stalin. No more. It'll be Shug Stalin.
Stalin-Hare.
That Stalin-Hare. I like it. Oh, Auburn just got thrown at it first. Pat Dye Field? Nope. Pat Dye Field is now Leonid Brezhnev Oblast. Can't you hear Andy Burcham? We're coming to you from Stalin-Hare Stadium and Leonid Brezhnev Oblast. All right, 2 more. Albee. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, not Albee. Oh, yes. He's still Albee, but that's Comrade Albee to you.
I can live with that.
And lastly, and finally, Toomer's Corner. Oh, you know what it is now. Go ahead and say it.
Red Square?
Red Square. To which all I can say is... Auburn, #1.
Well, I'm not
All right, there it is. New terminology you need to learn starting this fall. As the rain comes down harder in Plainsman Park, and they haven't called it yet. I'm surprised. Are you surprised they're still playing?
Yeah, but it's also the 7th, right? Or 8th?
Bottom of 7th.
And so maybe they're thinking it'll pass and they can get it in.
Well, they don't want to, make this game go till midnight. It's already gone way longer than it was supposed to. All right, let's look at our off-season depth chart review again. John's feature where he goes position by position around the team. And we've done quarterbacks, we've done running backs, we've done receivers. Where are we now?
We are tight ends now, Van. Welcome. So
right. Man,
a different position, an interesting position for Auburn. Alex Golesh, a former tight ends coach, knows the position well, deploys a lot of tight ends in the offense they use, the careful, different type of offense that Auburn uses, that South Florida has been using. And so it's an important position, but also it's a position where it's kind of dramatically different. So who did we lose moving into this season? So Brendan Frazier and Tate Johnson were seniors who finished their eligibility last year. They had, particularly Brendan Frazier, had been around for a while and finished his playing time at Auburn. And then we had 2 tight ends transfer out. Preston Howard transferred back to Maryland, where he transferred to Auburn from. So he went Maryland, Auburn, Maryland. And Hollis Davidson, who was a redshirt freshman, I think, or a sophomore, transferred to Alabama State. So we retained 1 tight end, and that is Ryan G. So he's a sophomore, played a little bit last year, and he's the lone kind of holdover. So we brought in several tight ends, and we have a freshman. So Jake Johnson is the big veteran tight end we brought in, a senior, a guy who had played at Texas A&M and at North Carolina, had played against Auburn at Texas A&M, younger brother of the former quarterback, Max Johnson, who, had played in the SEC, had played against Auburn, and son of Brad Johnson, the Tampa Bay quarterback. And so a guy that had played a lot of, Jake Johnson's a senior who's played a lot of SEC football, played in North Carolina last year, coming to Auburn. He is the kind of the veteran, fully developed tight end guy. So he's kind of the presumptive starter and the all-around kind of blocker, pass catcher, productive tight end that you need. So we brought in a few other players. We brought in a guy, an all-time name team guy, Arliss Boardingham.
Oh, absolutely. That sounds like a new show on HBO.
Yes, Arliss Boardingham. And he actually started his career at Florida and played a year or 2 there, and then went to Bowling Green, who actually has turned out a number of excellent tight ends recently in the NFL, and then left there and came to Auburn. And so he's a guy who he had 18 catches at Florida 2 years ago. So he can play. And then we also brought in Jonathan Eccles from South Florida. He's the lone tight end that came from South Florida, but he's a big physical tight end who played a lot at South Florida, and they feel pretty good about him as a receiver. He was banged up and missed a lot of the spring, but I think he's a guy that's very comfortable, obviously, in the system already and knows what they want him to do, and I think will play a lot in the fall. We brought in Xavier Newsome, whose nickname is Tree because he's so tall. He's like 6'7", and he actually came from Howard University with our tight ends coach, who was the former head coach at Howard.
Right.
And so he's an exciting young prospect, a guy, that's a sophomore, but I think is going to develop and play a good bit. We also brought in one other tight end who's a senior, but is an interesting player. His name is Hunter Herring.
Mm-hmm.
He came from Louisiana Monroe, where he played quarterback.
Oh,
and
wow.
he will be playing tight end for Auburn this fall because he's a big physical. He was basically a run quarterback for them,
right,
and a run up the middle quarterback for them. So he could be a goal line option for Auburn potentially, but also kind of a gadget tight end maybe.
I like that. I like the gadgets. Gadget guy.
I think he's a very interesting guy. Hasn't played the position obviously as much as some of these other players have, but obviously physically good ball skills. He could be a trick play guy. He could be a gadget guy, and he's just a big physical guy who could be another tight end in the Swiss Army knife role.
So he probably, the thinking was he might be an NFL player as a tight end. He wasn't going to be an NFL player as a quarterback. So he wanted to go to a big school, SEC or Big Ten type school, and play tight end for how long? A year? Has he got a year?
He's a senior. He got 1 year. So,
all right.
But also, take a shot and see what he could do.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a lot of tight ends.
Well, even the true freshman we signed, DJ Broughton. So, I mean, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Holy cow.
More than we've had recently. And I think it's because this offense uses them. You're going to see tight ends out there a lot. You're going to see a lot of 2 tight ends. You're going to see a lot of rotation of tight ends.
We got more tight ends on this roster than there's defenders on the U.S. men's national team roster this year. That's interesting.
It's fair, but I also – go ahead.
Got him at first base. We're all good.
All right. I also think that's a lot of guys I named, but really when we talk about tight ends who are going to play, especially when I think about the Baylor game, Jake Johnson, Arlis Boardingham, Jonathan Eccles, those 3 guys are going to play. And that's why I look as kind of the tight ends who are going to be in the regular rotation. I look at those guys and say that's what we got. But a lot of depth, and we have some young guys that we can develop and move forward there, and also some veteran guys who can step in right away and kind of do the job that we need them to do in this offense.
Nice. All right. The one football note that I had, and that's very good. By the way, who's coming up next time? Who's on the?
I think we're going to move to offensive line, but we'll probably split it up and do tackles and guards and centers. So probably we'll do interior offensive linemen 1 week and tackles the other week.
Gotcha. All right. Another foul ball. Still 7-3 Auburn over Central Florida in the top of the 8th. There is 1 out and nobody on base. One interesting thing, one thing that was on my mind I wanted to mention about football right quick while we're talking about it is there's folks on social media, and one in particular I won't name, struck him out. Sit down, 2 outs. That just revels in finding the negativity. And I just wanted to say, if you're an Auburn fan, it's fine to be concerned about the state of our programs, but don't make a fool out of yourself by ignoring all the stuff that we have accomplished. I mean, we won a national championship in golf and are dominating in golf. The women's tennis was great. We went to the Final Four twice in the last 6 years in basketball. We just got a whole new coach that's bringing very exciting stuff in football, and there's so many other things to mention. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention was, did you see the video of Byron Brown throwing the ball in the Elite 11 where he's a counselor allegedly?
I did not.
Yeah, he was hitting the feet of the receivers, and so the negative Nellies were like, see, Byron Brown isn't a good quarterback. He can't throw the ball. He can't catch it. He can't hit his receivers. And I'm like, well, A, they weren't his receivers. And B, I mean, he's just out there chucking the ball down the field. So, in 3 clips. So I need to know more about that before I decide that he's suddenly a bust. Okay, we just, I believe, struck out another Central Florida batter, and we're going to the top of the struck him out. Going to the top of the 8th next, I believe that's right. All right, let's get this game over with. No Formula One race this past weekend today because they moved the Monaco race to next weekend. So we will have, in fact, IndyCar has the race here next weekend too. It's going to be weird. It's always been Monaco and the Indy 500 on the same day and the Coca-Cola 600. This year it's Monaco and the St. Louis Gateway race. So I've been to a bunch of those, but I don't think I'm going this year. We have kind of a small oval, not a tiny oval like Iowa, kind of a medium-sized oval, but it's a pretty neat. The thing that's so cool about the oval in St. Louis, and that track's 20 minutes from my house, is that it's small and it's big enough that it's not just like the Iowa race is like they're on a string and they're just going rah, rah, rah. Like when you pit, you go 4 laps down. It's insane, you know. This track is big enough to be worth driving on, but you can see the entire track from the stands. Like at Indy, you can only see a portion of the track because it's so freaking huge, you know. I sat in turn 4 and had a nice view all the way down to the start-finish line and all the way out to turn 3. But you can see all of the track at Gateway. So that's pretty cool. If you guys are in this area and you like IndyCar racing, go check out the IndyCar race next weekend. So no Formula One, so no fantasy Formula One, but we'll have some next time from Monaco. And I wanted to mention this. So the U.S. today soccer team getting ready for the World Cup, they played Senegal. Did you get to see any of this?
I saw the result. I did not watch the match.
Yeah, I had it on kind of in the car, listening to it on the way back home from Peoria and watched some of the highlights too. They looked pretty good. They still had moments where they didn't look like they knew what they were doing and gave up 2 goals very quickly together right before halftime and right after. But the offense looked good. They weren't playing their top players at every position. They're still mixing and matching. But so that's the next to last tune-up game. Get this, John. So the U.S.'s first actual World Cup game is June 12th. Okay, we play, I think, Paraguay on June 12th.
Yep.
We play one more tune-up game that doesn't count, and we play it on June 6th. What is June 6th? My wedding anniversary. What else is June 6th?
D-Day.
Who are we playing on D-Day?
The Germans.
This Deutschland. The Germans on D-Day. They had to have done that on purpose. Come on. They had to have done that on purpose. That's too big of a coincidence. Germany on D-Day. It's like the 94 team says we're playing Brazil on the 4th of July. And this year's team said, hold my Wiener Schnitzel. We're playing Germany on D-Day. That is awesome. I'm very excited about that.
I'm excited about it as well.
Well, the funny thing is, usually we have a team like Germany in our group. This is by far the easiest group we've ever been in. There's no Germany.
Knocking on wood when you say that.
There's no Spain. There's no Italy back in the day, right? We always ended up in one of their groups. But the teams that are there are kind of evenly good. So we'll see. All right. We got to thank the patrons. This show is and remains commercial free. One of the only podcasts and YouTube shows. And remember what John and I always say, folks. You can subscribe to this show on YouTube if you want to, or don't. It's not like we're going to get that upset about it either way. Knock yourself out. Or listen to us on the podcasts. In fact, I probably need to say this more often. If you're listening to this show as you have for many years on the podcast apps like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we just got thrown out at first. If you do that, if you want, you can also watch our show live on YouTube or record it on YouTube. Okay. Just go to AU Wishbone TV and click under the little live tab and it'll be under there. And if you've discovered this show through YouTube and you didn't know this, we've been doing this show as an audio podcast for nigh unto almost 15 years. So just go to any podcast app and just search for AU Wishbone, and you will find shows going back to the Chiswick era. All right. So here are the fine folks that keep this show commercial free. We would love for you to join them by going to www.auwishbone.com. They include the great title sponsor, Samuel Salvatore. And we thank him. There is also Logan Chilton, who reminds us, as when we're spending all day and all night watching this baseball game, what do we sacrifice to be an Auburn fan?
So what do I sacrifice? Everything!
Are they calling it for rain again, or are they?
No. We just scored from third base, and the catcher got banged up. So.
Oh, okay. Let's see. There is Ben Spooner. If we lose this baseball game, that would be. Where did it go? Oh,
Blasphemy!
That's right. There you go. It was I was looking in the wrong place. Let's see. There's Carl Von Drunker, Chris and Clinton Stewart. Is it Baylor Hate Week yet? It is always Baylor Hate Week when they're our opening opponent. Earl Ricks, Phil Amthor now giving Vantage on a break from which I hope I won't have to say at the end of this baseball game.
Amen.
Yeah, I'm trying to see why it's narrow and it's not showing me everything. There's something weird going on. All right, I'm just got to tell you guys. If I can't read your entire comment this time, it's because the Patreon site is doing something weird. I will try to get this cleared up before next time. But let's see. There's Richard Stevens, Steve Trawick, Ann Pridgeon, Shane Bailey, Susan Trawick, Willie Carden, win in Norman, Oklahoma. I approve of winning in Norman, Oklahoma. Gary Grant, a.k.a. AU fan at KSC, and AU Wishbone NCAA Pick'em champion, I think. The longer ones are just cut off this week. I don't know why. William Morgan, Bradley Blackman, Eric Morgan, Michael Kirshner, War Eagle from South Arkansas, David W.D. Salmons Esquire, G Money, Rich Reimer, Steve Harlan, Wes Atkinson, Dan Thompson, a few more patrons, then back to the authorities. Catherine England, Will Summerford, no one fights like Gaston. War Eagle always, Jacob and Robin Fleming, Mickey B, Winston Body, washed up fantasy F1 team Principal Lane. That's how I feel about my team. Brandon Smith, Daniel Odom. That's a ball. That's a walk. Man on first and second with 2 outs, bottom of the 8th for Auburn. 2008-2009 Taliban Wrangler World Champion. H-Town Danny, WDE Richie, Chris Hilton, Bob WDE Salmons, Auburn University Debate Team 74-75. Algo Rhythm and Blues, Charles Mooney, Rusty Owens, goodbye you. Luther and Kelly Ottaway. I guess we'll go a little faster tonight since I can only see half of the I happen to remember this one, so I can finish it. I started carrying a knife after an attempted mugging a few years ago, and the muggings work much better now. Todd Robinson, a.k.a. Undisputed 2012 Doubles Badminton Champion. Chad McDowell, Auburn Football's Elvis. Wade Ward, Reynolds Wolf. Oh, I guess they got out of the inning, dang it. Philip Martin, Jeff Hunter. David G. is Health and Safety Representative for
Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage. Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage. Jones Barbecue and
sorry,
Foot
not
Massage.
trying to keep doing it.
Jones.
Oh, stop. For crying out loud. But remember, you bring it to them, and they'll put it in the fryer. They don't care. They'll put it in there for you. They'll fry it up. Alex and Michael in Singapore. Mark Margolis, Ashley Lamar, Timothy, Russell Milling, Randall Walker, David Simpson, Josh Teal, Tony Perry, Rob Morgan, Patrick Williams says the AU Wishbone. It is simply...
Whether you like it or not, learn to love it because it's the best thing going today.
Woo! That's right. Construction Tiger, Papa Todd, Cato, the SEC Pick'em champion, Stephen Houston, Kevin Mahan, Blake Heron, Sarah Hines, Sasquatch, 7-time North America hide and seek champion and last year's the bracket champion, Tim Pittman, Boris the Tiger, Once you have a new hope, the superior empire strikes back. See, 2 people are giving me crap about that now. David D., Auburn Blue, Dr. Crackham, Bill Weathers, Eternal Glory. Walt is cautiously optimistic about all major sports again. Well, we're trying to nurse the baseball team here through it. Antoine Morris, ABB, Wiggeber, the 2005 Auburn University Intramural Horseshoes champion. Tyler Ward, Mark Squire, cue the anthem, boys. We already did that, so we'll count that one. Alex Nguyen, Kenneth Brent Raines, the barbecue.
You have failed me for the last time.
John Stubbs, Clay Henson, Justin Bean, James Taylor, Ruth and Darren Sutherland, and finally, Ben Amos Spanky. AU Wishbone, my new happy place, because
Larry Bird's not walking through that door, fans. Kevin McHale's not walking through that door, and Robert Parrish is not walking through that door.
That's true. Chris Como, Darren Pyle, Theodore Gary, David Smiley, Trevor Johnson, college equestrian expert Auburn, Elvis, you falling up? Oh, they're playing dirty now. Phantom Menace is better than A New Hope. Well, for the first part,
they didn't even get the air horn for that.
No, the problem there is I don't recognize anything called A New Hope. There's Star Wars, 1977, which, by the way, the original cut is coming back to theaters in a few months for the 50th anniversary.
I've heard that rumor.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. I've got Harmy's Despecialized, which is basically they recreated the original cut using HD video, and it's nice. But I'm really looking forward to seeing the film version in the theater of Star Wars again for the first time since 1979, thereabouts. I think was the last time I saw the original. And even then, it said A New Hope. When I saw it in 77, it didn't say A New Hope, didn't say Episode 4, right? You saw it then too, I'm sure. All this New Hope business and episode number and all that. Falderall and who to who. Oh, Inside the Park. Was that a double? Or you gonna get a single out of it? Yeah, okay. No, we got a double.
And there was a guy on second.
Oh, so we got 2 outs, but we got two guys in scoring position. Bottom of the 8th, man on second, man on third. In the rain. And the pitch, he slapped it right to the base of the wall. And in fact, I give Central Florida credit for getting the ball. It kind of died at the bottom of the wall, and they were able to get it back. Yeah. All right.
All right, Van, are you ready for this? The Milwaukee team has arrived at the stadium, and basically the plan is they're going to play a game tonight after this game.
Oh, good gosh. No way.
As long as it starts before 11 p.m., they're going to play a game tonight.
In the rain in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, almost hit him. 2-0 the pitch with 2 outs, men in scoring position. So we're looking to either get the bases loaded, drive in some runs, or this will be the 3rd out. A whole lot of something important is about to happen here. Not on this pitch unless he slaps it out of the park. That's 3-0 right there. We are 1 ball away from bases loaded for Auburn. I feel like I'm not telling the audience who we're talking about here. All right, so the score is 8-3 Auburn, bottom of the 9th, man on second, man on third. Here's the pitch. Strike 1. So it's 3-1 is the count. 3-1 to count. It is pouring rain. They don't care. They're just going to play through it, which is crazy. They're going to play another game on this field after it's poured down rain on it like this.
Yes.
That's crazy. There's a hit going straight up, going back into the stands. Foul ball. 3-2 the count on Guevara. It's always Guevara when I start doing this. I'm going to get in a few more. Paul Bankson, MVP captain, and Kathy Bright. Kathy, I'm going to skip your little thing this time for once. Ben Rigas, Bobby Polite, Elizabeth Donald. I'll buy this for $1. Rich Hammett, Chris Braun, Alex Browns, the Slinko family. Daniel, The Empire Strikes Back is not superior to Star Wars. I'm sorry, he says it is. All right, here comes the pitch. 3-2 the count. Oh, high and outside. It's going to be bases loaded. with 2 outs as Guevara goes to first. Jim Ricori, I am Tiger. Why do melons have weddings? They can't elope. New York Tiger, CT Tiger, Jim Myers, Trey Jackson, Howard Franz, Peter Wang, Willie Moe, Chris, and our one-time anonymous donors. www.auwishbone.com. Bases loaded. Bases loaded. Auburn fans are going crazy. And I don't know the guy's name that's at the bat. Oh, that was that was a hit. He just hit the batter and brought in a run.
Oh,
he hit the batter in the elbow. The umpire pointed at his elbow and said, take your base. 9-3 Auburn in the bottom of the 8th.
Pitcher doesn't have any control.
Please clap.
Woo, woo, woo.
Then so be it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Central Florida's got to know it's over for them. It's all over. Let's see. Here's the replay of the pitch, and it got in it creased his t-shirt. That was Frelick. And you think they'll review this? They have VAR in college baseball.
They have review, but I'm not sure they will for this.
I mean, it didn't really hit him. It kind of hit his shirt, maybe the cuff.
All right, let's keep moving.
Yeah, that was the real time. And he's gone, man. He's like Frelick's like taking his batting stuff off the instant the umpire says that. All right, let's get on to guess the game. What do you say while we're waiting to see what happens here?
Who can it be now?
Hello, Van, John, the rest of the AU Wishbone family. This is Jared Albrecht, the yard sale artist, here with Guess the Game number 172. Guess the Game 172 is sent in by Bill Miner. Let's take a listen to what Bill sent in.
3rd down 3. Auburn 50% on 3rd down conversions. Is in the lineup.
And I think this is 4-down territory. Hurry up, roll it. And they're going to run the same play, I'll tell you. Be ready. Now, might keep it, but it'll be the same play.
18-yard gain.
Same play.
Wow! Touchdown, Auburn!
You knew it was coming. When they roll it, they run the same play, and they can do that because they have 3 options off of the same play.
Okay, guys, I will see you in the hint file.
Let me just interject really quickly that they reviewed it and they let it stand. The hit ball.
All right, so guess the game. The announcers were.
Oh, that was Vern and Gary, right?
Yeah, so
that was a big game, and it was
Peak
loud.
CBS crew, it was loud, and the way running the play again, that was clearly a Gus offense, right?
It was totally Gus. The first thing I thought.
A Gus offense. So a big CBS game, Gus offense. We ran on 3rd down. We ran and got 18 yards. We ran up to the line, called the same play again, and scored a touchdown. That's what happened.
That wasn't the kick 6 game, was it?
It could have been. There was 800 other things that happened in that game. So it could have been the Alabama game.
The tying touchdown where Nick kept it and rolled out to his left and threw it to Sammy Coates or whatever.
Yeah.
It was Sammy.
I don't think it was that play, but I think it still could have been that game. But it might have been.
Like there was an earlier one where Nick Marshall did that and ran in.
That's what I'm saying. It would have been like 2 Nick Marshall runs in a row or something.
Okay.
I don't think we know enough to pick a game, but We know the rough era of what we're talking about.
We're
It was
confident
clearly a
in the
home
rough-
game.
Oh, clearly. We're confident in the rough era, and we're penciling in the kick six. But let's go to the hint file to see if we're on the right track.
All right, guys, let's get rid of those bleeps and give it another listen.
3rd down 3. Auburn 50% on 3rd down conversions. Cameron Artis Payne is in the lineup.
I think this is 4-down territory.
Cameron Artis Payne.
Hurry up, roll it. And they're going to run the same play, I'll tell you. Be ready. Now, Nick Marshall might keep it, but it'll be the same play.
18-yard gain.
Same play.
Cameron Artis Payne. Wow! Touchdown, Auburn.
He knew it was coming. When they roll it, they run the same play, and they can do that because they have 3 options off of the same play.
Okay, guys, I will see you in the answer file.
This is a tough one
I don't think
because he was on the 13 and 14 teams. In 14, he was the primary running back.
yes.
But
But they
he
said
played,
he on the field, which sounded like that was unusual.
so it made me think it was 13, right?
I kind of do. There's a new game that's entered the chat.
Okay.
How do you feel about the 2013 SEC championship game with Missouri?
I like that. I like it.
A lot of scoring.
We were chewing them up, spitting them
Ran
out.
all over.
Mhm.
And I remember Cameron Artis Payne had at least 1 or 2 touchdowns in that game too.
I like it.
Top of all of Trey Mason's that he had.
Because we were talking about a home game. I was trying to think about what other games, big rushing games we had at home that year, and I don't know.
Would the crowd have been that loud in Atlanta? I think it would.
Yes,
For the SEC.
yes, 100%.
Okay. How do you feel about that one? Do you
I
have
like
any
it.
other
Let's do it.
thoughts? All right, we're
I
going
know,
with
I'm-
2013.
I was
Okay,
trying to think about another home game. I like the Missouri call. Let's do it.
All right, Missouri 2013 SEC championship game.
All right, Van, John, if you guys figured out that this is Auburn playing Missouri for the SEC championship in
Yeah.
2013,
Woo.
then you win. I want to thank Bill Miner for sending that in back in those days where we used to go fast. That was 2 plays to a touchdown with fanfare, and that sound clip was about 1 minute long. 1 minute, 2 plays, touchdown, fanfare. I miss those days. Anyways, if you'd like to be like Bill Miner and send in a play for Guess the Game, I can be found at lots of different places. I am at Yard Sale Artist on X, Facebook, and Instagram, or you can email me directly at Jared, that's JARROD, at theyardsaleartist.com. Until next time, Van, John, Oregon.
Look at me now.
Thank you. Order. Questions to the Prime Minister.
It's time for listener questions. Dun, 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 on the AU Wishbone podcast.
I got great news for you.
What's in the mailbag, John?
All right, we got a few emails over the last couple weeks we have not gotten to, so we'll start. This one comes from Rusty Owens, and the subject line is confession. He says, "Good afternoon, gentlemen. I have a small confession to make. I finally went to my first Auburn baseball game this weekend. I don't know why I never went before. When I was a student coming on the heels of Bo Jackson with Frank Thomas there, I know I missed out. Regardless, I went last Friday night versus Texas A&M. This was a few weeks ago. First of all, their cult status applies to all sports. They have a cheer and a song for literally everything, and I sat in the middle of them. But they were silent from the second inning on. Even though the game went all 9 innings, they knew once we went up 5 runs, it was over. I will confess that
Who was the opponent?
A&M.
Oh, A&M. Okay, yeah, I missed that somehow, and then I was like, wait, who were talking about? Okay, my bad.
He says, I will confess that I have been a bandwagon fan and that this is the most interested I've been in the team, and that largely it has to do with the failures in football and the letdown in basketball. But let me assure you, I will not make the mistake going forward. This team is fun to watch, and the chemistry among the guys is easy to see. Butch has built something that is special. I've heard that it's possible that next year's team could be more talented, but I, for one, am hoping these guys make it all the way to Omaha. Signed, a bandwagon fan, Rusty Owens.
I hear you. And by the way, this just in, Plainsman Park, Proletariat Park. Uh-oh. There's a fly ball from Central Florida. We're in the top of the ninth, and it is out. That is one away. 2 more outs, and Auburn has survived that early loss to Milwaukee and finds themselves playing the top team.
All right, we got a few more emails. This is from frequent emailer Bill Miner. The subject line is Neville Arena. He says, "Hey guys, one thought I realized the other day, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts about, is how grateful we are that Neville Arena is up and running. I hear so often a desire from the other state school to get rid of its aircraft hangar with more monies needed for NIL. It's unsure when it'll get replaced. I guess the same goes for the football performance facility. I remember thinking Beard Eves was definitely dated, but the upgrade has been worth its weight in gold." It is really good timing that we got Neville Arena and the football performance facility built when we did, and before the NIL era, because it's tough to repurpose monies for those things now.
Right. Yeah. No, we've said all along that we're going to have one of the nicest football complexes in football for a long time, because other schools are just not going to want to spend the money to build something like what we did right when we did it, right before all this started. So yeah, it really did work out great. And I love Neville. It's wonderful. And I do wonder about the old Beard Eves, what they're ever going to do with it. I mean, obviously it cost a lot of money to tear it down, but also it has a lot of offices in it and classrooms.
Yeah, but I think there's a long-term plan to replace it with something else with office space.
Yeah. Yeah. But that'd be a whole, it'd be one of those things where you're spending a whole lot of money just to change something you already have that doesn't even have, it's not even a front facing for the Auburn program in any sport.
But it's a huge piece of land and a huge building on campus that could be much more productively used, I think. So
yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Do they use the inside the arena of it anymore for anything? Volleyball?
I'm sure other sports use it for things. So. Practice for sure.
When I had baseball, when I had football coaching, our classroom was inside the arena, inside the Coliseum, Beard Eves. And when our professor, who was a coach, went to the athletic department and said, we want to use like the practice field or Jordan Hare to run through plays and stuff for class one day, they told him no, but you can use you can use Beard Eves. So we were out on the floor of Beard Eves doing football plays. And I thought that was the most Auburn thing ever back in the 80s, is that a PE class can use the floor of the basketball arena, but don't get near the practice field of football. That,
priorities, Van.
So typical.
All right, 2 more emails. This one's from Auburn Elvis, who says the subject line is 3 games in 12 days. He says, in case you missed this week, there was fussing about the SEC schedule, the TV times. He said, Arkansas's athletic director is bitching and moaning about a mildly shortened turnaround between their first 2 games. I was wondering what you two remember about the 2002 Auburn schedule that had us playing 3 games in 12 days. I believe that we played on a Memorial Day Monday or something, and then a Saturday, and then the next week maybe on a Friday or something. But it was a quick turnaround.
We played on a Monday against USC in Los Angeles on 2002 to start the year. Yes. We probably then played on Saturday for game 2, and then maybe we played like a Thursday game the next week. So that would have been Monday through the next Thursday. That would make, I guess that would be that's the only way I can imagine it could work. But yeah, that would be crazy. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, but We failed to mention this. The SEC did announce some game times for the first few games of the year. The Baylor game.
Auburn wins. I'm sorry, John, interrupting. Auburn wins. Down go the Golden Knights. Down go the Golden Knights. Auburn has won. Auburn is going to face Milwaukee. Oh, the Central Florida players are gnashing their teeth and shaking their fist at the heavens in agony because they have been eliminated and they are done. Auburn has won 9-3 and apparently will now play Milwaukee tonight. Because tonight.
I was going to sing Old Milwaukee. No.
Yeah.
All right. Last email. I'm sorry. I was in the middle of a thought about what.
I apologize, but breaking news is breaking news. I can't. That's just how it is, man.
It broke when it broke. Auburn announced 3 game times. The Arkansas athletic director was fussing about them having a late game time and then an early kickoff on a travel day their first weekend, and it was going to shorten their time between games. It was like, whatever, quit whining. But Auburn will play Baylor on that Saturday year at DragonCon. That'll be a 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central kickoff.
That's right.
Not a night game. And then Auburn will play Southern Miss at night in home, and then we'll play Florida at home in a night game.
Oh, that's what I was waiting on. We're getting Florida at night.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Wonderful.
Well, that crowd is going to be savage and brutal. We're going to brutalize those Gators. It's going to be beautiful. I can't wait.
Fired up.
And we're planning to be there. As last I checked, you and I are planning to be there.
We're going to be there. 100%.
It's the only game I'm planning to go to this fall, so I'd really like for it to work out. I'm not even going to be able to go to the Baylor game, even though I'm going to be in town, unless somebody gives me a ticket and I don't have anything going on for 3 hours in the afternoon on a Saturday, which at DragonCon is insane. Would never happen.
All right. Last email is from Nicholas Cottrell, and the subject line is, if you had a blank check. He says, gentlemen, in the current unregulated era of NIL, it seems that everything is a financial arms race. Coaches and players alike are being paid more than ever before. One aspect of college football that's always been about who can spend the most money is the school stadium and facilities. All across college football, we see programs spending ludicrous amounts of money to improve their stadiums. To name just a few, Illinois will unveil a video scoreboard this season that is 1.7 times the size of Auburn's big scoreboard. Oklahoma is spending roughly $500 million on their press box and luxury seating, and Michigan State is investing $1 billion in athletics facilities across several sports. I know we've had several recent upgrades, but if you were handed a blank checkbook and told you could renovate the stadium in any way you see fit, what would you do? How would you improve the game day experience for fans, players, and coaches? My own suggestion are a retractable dome so we'd never have a lightning delay again, and adding a Waffle House to the concession lineup. Thanks to War Eagle, Nicholas Cottrell. And he says, P.S. At the time of this recording, there will only be 84 days remaining until week 0 of college football. That's not much too longer to wait.
Wow. I know. Time's ticking right along here. Not that much longer. And we're 12 days away from 11 days away from the start of the World Cup, 12 days away from the U.S. playing. We're 7 days away from the Monaco Grand Prix. There's all kinds of stuff coming up here. I like it. I think that if you really wanted to make the fan experience for everybody better in that stadium, you'd figure out a way to just give each person a little more space on the aluminum bench seating. Because the chairs are going to chair. They're fine. If you can afford the chair seating, then good on you. You're fine. But if you're in the upper deck or in the regular bowl and you're sitting there on a bench, you don't have a lot of room. And the little chair seats, they are valuable. I get them. I get a chair seat, a chair back seat, not for the comfort but just to kind of block off my space so nobody can encroach in on my space, because it pushes both sides out. It doesn't give you much space. So that would be the number one thing. And if we want to do something in terms of the stadium beautification, I've always said, now that they're fixing the north end zone, the west side of the stadium just needs to be beautified a little bit. Just a little more telegenic would be nice. What do you want?
Yeah. Some more basic human things. I'd like some handrails for the stairways. It's pretty unsafe without any kind of handrail on any of the stairways in the lower bowl. I'd like little more restrooms and nicer restrooms. And they've done a bunch of work on the concession facilities, but I don't feel like the lines are faster. I think I'm a little skeptical about how all that's working. And I think there's probably better ways to do some of that than we're doing it right now. So that's what I think about. I'd love also to have some kind of retractable thing to block the sun sometimes, because it gets to be kind of, you and I both been there and been sunburned and cooked in that stadium. So some kind of, retractable, like the Roman Coliseum awnings come out and go back to protect the fans and from the sun.
South Carolina has you need a thing that kind of comes out from the deck and leans in an opposite angle.
And it can be a retractable thing. So when it's evening or when it's nice, you don't have them out. But something like that would be, again, we're talking about blank check. That's what I want. So.
Yeah. If you wanted to make the seats a little wider, you're going to lose X number of seats, but just slap on another little few rows on the new thing they're building, and then you can cancel it out. Right? You could
you just add 6 inches to my seat, just make the stadium a little bigger.
Well, you don't have to make it bigger. You just add another.
He said blank check, man. I'm thinking about just
blank check. Yeah, make it bigger. Why not? Oh man. I'm sure there's many other things we could come up with. I'm sure that all the Auburn reporters would say the first thing they should do is get rid of the little double wide and give them back their prime seating on the side, but whatever.
I think I'd probably also, better cell phone signal in the stadium be a nice thing too. So
yeah, it's always impossible by the time the game starts. So, all right, do we have any around the SEC? I can't think of anything right now.
No, other than in upcoming weeks, I'll walk through the week 1, week 2 schedules to give us something to get excited about, because they were announcing other start times for other games, and that does always get me excited.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Well, Baylor obviously is its own thing. I'm really looking forward to playing Southern Miss, just because they're a traditional team that we've always played as our non-conference team for many years. We haven't played them in a while, but they were the broadcast just ended. But it'll be neat to renew the old rivalry with them. And then because you could argue that our worst, until that New Mexico State thing a couple of years ago, up until then, our worst out-of-conference loss was to Southern Miss in 1990 and 91. That was it. So they've walked into Jordan-Hare and come out with wins more than once.
South Florida?
Yeah, they were up there too. That was not good either. Those are probably the 4 worst: Southern Miss, South Florida, and New Mexico State, whatever.
Okay, now we're just talking now. Did we lose to Georgia Tech at home?
Yeah, 2003. But Georgia Tech is not New Mexico.
I'm still angry about that game.
Oh, I am too. But Georgia Tech's a legit Power 5 team, or 4, or whatever we're calling it.
You're talking about Southern Miss in 90 and 91. They had 3 first-round. They had 3 NFL players in their
Brett Favre, one of those years. Yeah, they came in with Brett Favre and took us down. So
they had Tony Smith and Michael Jackson. They had good players. So
Falcons drafted him. That's right. I remember. All right. But yeah, and then Florida. Oh, I'm so excited to get to play Florida in Jordan-Hare at night. Play the first time we played them in Auburn since 2011. God, I hate the way the schedule used to work. I'm so glad that's over now. And I think Texas A&M and Georgia still haven't played. What is the deal with that? They just can't. Something in the bylaws somewhere.
It's coming. Georgia's gonna have to go there.
That'd be nice. All right. Tomorrow night, Monday, I will be at the Cardinals at Busch Stadium with my nephew watching the Cardinals play a baseball game. I hear the attendance hadn't been too good for the Cardinals lately, so I figure we'll do like the Braves used to do back in the day, right? I'll call them up and tell them what time we're going to be there so they can start the game for us.
You leave 2 tickets on the dashboard, and they'll smash your window. Leave 2 more.
Leave 2 more. It's so good. All right, John, that's been fun. We got through the baseball game together, and it's time to get on out of here. Our time is up with Thank You Viewers. War Eagle John.
Bring it, man.